Bloodletter. My cursed body bleeds once a month like clockwork. I am thin and weak and more ugly than most. I am, in a word, different, and people do not take kindly to such. Too weak to work, a mere useless husk, I spend my days in a basement, waiting for the abuse I know is sure to come. In my dreams, my body no longer bleeds. I feel sick. Sick and queasy. In my dream, the man who abuses me appears again. But this time, I seize the weapon he has long used to torment me. In the dream, I hit him again and again. And then I see, for the very first time, that I am not the only one who bleeds. I am human, just like him. And this makes me smile. Broken iron. The iron was beaten into shape. It stood alone in battle. The iron killed with abandon. That was its reason to exist. The iron took countless lives to make its dream come true. The iron shed bloody tears, for it could not be human again. Ceremonial Blade. The prince I serve was destined to lead our nation, but alas, we had been nearly destroyed in an unjust war, betrayed from within, and left to wither and die. The prince I serve grew into a strong, handsome young man. After much grueling toil, he rebuilt our land and became its king. It was a wonderful, wonderful land. But that land is long gone. You will find it on no map. And my king fell when his nation was defeated. My king kept his ceremonial blade close, and to the very end, he never suspected me. It remains a regret of mine. But no matter. It's just a silly little story now. Cries and Whispers. Seriously, you don't even know how to use this sword? Now that's just pathetic. It couldn't possibly be easier. Even little old me can spin this thing around. A disciple at my level has more than just strength, you know. He has enough bewitching beauty to make his enemies swoon. Looks like it's working on you too. Money really does make the world go round, doesn't it? I should know, given the vast fortune I command. Not that they let me use it yet. Lord knows why. Is there anything more important in life than beauty, strength, and money? What a kitty you are. I mean, do you even need to ask? Eternal voice. A visitor? Ah, yes. Come, hear the song then. The innkeeper and daughter will greet you warmly. Their food and drink is without compare, and the girls a feast for the eyes. The girl's song is the best thing about the place. A single listen will drive all your troubles away. Did you know she has a sister? If only they sang a duet. Welcome back, traveler. It's been a while. Come to see the girls again. You certainly do like them. It's been decades since I first told you of them, and yet here you are again. What's that, traveler? You wonder why the girls never age? Oh, those are the children of the girls you once knew. Surely you didn't think they were mortal, did you? False Pact. One of the villagers was a compulsive liar. He bandied a sword about carelessly, boasting of his demon-slaying exploits. Soon he had lost the truth of all his peers. One day, a traveler arrived asking the way to a lair of demons. The villagers were silent, But the great liar spoke. "Have no fear," he said. "I will lead you to the demon's den." The man lied and lied, and each time the traveler believed him, they became more lost. But when the liar finally showed the true path, he was forced to save the traveler from the demon. "I finally told the truth," said the dying liar, "and now I must pay for it." The traveler slayed the demon, became a hero, and has carried his newfound friend's sword ever since. Feral King's Wildblade. "Ah, you have a keen eye for quality, sir. This sword comes from a far-off land. Know you the tale? A young man slew a horrid beast and grew so renowned the king became mad with envy. The king sent him on an impossible quest, and the young man fell to the very monsters he was meant to slay. His sister pleaded for his remains, but all she received was his sword. The sister became the king's mistress, and she used the sword to murder him before turning it on herself. And now the blade is used to exact revenge on... Sir, are you okay? What's with that sword in your hand? Revenge, you say? But I'm just a weapons merchant. My sword didn't kill your family. It's just a blade. No, stop, wait! Gaia's flame. Beauty is only skin deep. The twisted hearts within remain unseen. I wish for the fortune of man. I scorn the persistent insects. A flame illuminates the night, but it brings only Stygian dark. To burn is proof of witchery, and I am the one who lights the fire. Imperial Fang. The warming breath of green granted fortune to all. The shining azure flow gave blessings to all. Flowers bloomed, life teemed. It was a land of promise. Countless great forces waged war over the land, troubling and trampling its bounties. Soon, mountains of mangled corpses replaced the blessings of earlier, better days. Time passed, trees grew over the bodies, and soon the cries of war were replaced by softly babbling brooks. Only a lone sword planted in the ground spoke of the terrible past. The young king drew the sword from the earth. "I claim this beautiful land as my own," he said. "Will the cycle begin anew? Alas, I must save that story for another time." Moonfire. The marble sword was imbued with the blacksmith's blazing soul. It yearned for an owner who thirsted for blood, who pined for battle, who hungered for war. But its razor edge emitted searing heat, enough to reduce to ash any stalwart warrior who wielded it. The sword waited for a strong soul to tame its boiling heart. It waited for the warrior who would let blood spill across its blade. Even as it took the lives of those it sought, the sword waited. It waited for a vessel for its soul, and eternity spread before it like an icy embrace.
Mourning Thorn. Why did I lose my child? Why did my child have to die? Why must I bear this punishment? All the other children survived. Why did mine perish? Theirs should have died too, every last one of them. No, I mustn't think this way. They are all precious. We must protect my lost child, and all the others too. But this world is chaos and strife. How can we hope to safeguard the children, the precious, precious children. To protect them, I must join them. But there are so many. Wait, I know. I must chew them up. Chew them all. Open my mouth and chew all the pretty babies.
Once a woman. The tower loomed, its white stonework unmarked by a single crack or crevice. Inside, a girl lived alone. Because none of her servants spoke to her, she knew nothing of speech. Throughout her captivity, the girl's servants refused to acknowledge her existence. But local villagers knew of her, and when a great famine struck the land, they took action. The villagers killed every last servant as they climbed the tower. "Cursed wench!" they shouted. "This is your fault!" But the girl could not understand the words. The girl was overjoyed to finally be exposed to emotion, even that of rage. A smile came to her face as the sword struck home, securing her place as the offering to the village gods. Saintly Brimstone. The villagers doubted the strange new missionary at first, but soon his charming words and handsome smile won them over, and they welcomed him with open arms. Beauty was power in the village. The beautiful were royalty, while the ugly suffered as slaves. Soon the scarred and deformed of the village begged the missionary for help. Smiling, the missionary raised a hand. In a flash, the ugly villagers were transformed, their faces all identical to his own. And yet his work was not complete. Soon every man, woman and child looked like the missionary, right down to the grin. They no longer cried or grew angry, leaving the village with grim, hollow smiles.
Sinful Scream. He committed a crime. The famine raged, taxes rose without mercy, and his parents vanished. Soon his siblings grew gaunt with hunger, and for them he took action. He committed a crime. He shared stolen milk and bread with his 5 young siblings, allowing himself none. Instead, he simply watched as they devoured the bounty. He committed a crime. When the rich merchants found him, he was not allowed to die for his sin. That honor fell to his siblings, for they alone had consumed the stolen goods. He committed a crime. His siblings' ravaged bodies lay in the street. He gazed upon them, rubbed the open sores from his own public whipping, and heaved a voiceless sob.
Skyward Thunder. One day, a young boy encountered a white horse with blue eyes by the side of a lush forest spring. Each day he passed the animal, he stopped to tend to its injured leg. On the 5th day, the horse allowed the boy to touch its beautiful white hair. On the 10th day, its deep blue eyes revealed a hard-won trust. Soon after, the horse vanished. The boy figured the leg had healed and regretted missing his chance to ride the steed. Decades passed. The boy, now a withered old man, told his grandchildren of the white horse. Just as the man spoke of the horse, thunder boomed from the sky, and he vanished. Some say they saw a man on a white horse amid the lightning, storming off to the heavens. Thunder Lord. Once there was a hellish wasteland covered by thundering skies. It changed hands countless times, and its people were tormented by unending hunger and merciless lightning. One day, a valiant young baron swore to conquer the land and turn it into a place of bounty. Few of his exhausted subjects believed him. Some even laughed openly. The Baron had forged a fine sword of silver, then ordered a group of virgins to pray for 3 days and nights. Atop a hill, he raised the sword high, then thrust it into the ground. After a stormy night, the sky cleared. The young Baron was gone, and a fruit tree stood on the hill with the silver sword entangled in its branches. It still rumbles to this day. Virginal Sinful. Once there were 3 young girls. Though they lived in an age where arranged marriages were the standard, they swore to each other that they would always protect their chastity. One girl cut her beautiful blonde hair and commanded a battalion in place of her dead brother. She died a fine death, with her beloved manservant at her side. One girl, a brunette and an avid reader of books, loved a man from a poor family. Knowing their love could never be, the couple threw themselves into the sea. The last girl, a flaxen-haired beauty, never knew her friends had broken their vows of chastity. She remained a virgin all her life, eventually passing away of old age. Caine's swords. She had suffered 2 unspeakable losses. The first, her beloved grandmother. The second, her beloved friend. So she killed. She killed the enemies that stole those who were most precious to her. She killed the enemies that placed the curse of revenge upon her. She killed. But then she lost sight. She lost sight of the purpose behind her vengeful rampage. She lost sight of life's meaning amidst all the slaughter. Inside the dark cavern, she dreamed. She dreamed of those she would be able to see again after death came for her. Nier's blade. Yona, stop. Sit down and eat. If you keep running around like this, you're going to drop your pie and See? What'd I say? You're already making a big mess. Emile, quit rummaging through my closet, will you? There's nothing in there but a bunch of old underwear. You sit down too and finish your soup. Where'd Caine go? Huh? She went to find more food? But I gave her an entire roast pig. How in the world did she eat that entire thing? In a quiet dream, I think of the world that was lost. I think of the people and my own past self. And I think of the happiness I'll never again know. Furiae's dagger. I mustn't trouble my brother. He's busy with his sword practice, so I must be a good girl and not bother him to play with me. I mustn't trouble my brother. He's busy with politics, so I must be a good girl and not bother him to talk with me. I mustn't trouble my brother. He's busy fighting other countries, so I must be a good girl and not bother him with my worries. I mustn't trouble my brother. I mustn't let him know the dark lust hiding in my bosom. If he were to see me like this, I would have to end my own life. Caim's sword. There once was an awkward prince who found love, politics, and even general interactions difficult. His only comfort was practicing swordplay in the courtyard. After 100 days of practice, he began to feel stronger. As this strength turned to confidence and washed away his anxieties, the prince devoted himself to mastering the sword. After 1,000 days of practice, he forgets the stress of politics and intrigue. Such things brought only lies and betrayal, but his sword never did. After 10,000 days of practice, he realized his sword might free him from all the stress if he entrusted everything to it. Alas, he was only running away from his problems.
3 scissors. My name is 3. I'm the 4th eldest of the Intonas. In what order was I made? You're such an adorable little doll. Here, let me just patch you up with some of my expert stitching. Oh, did you lose a limb or two? Don't worry, little doll. I'll fix you up good as new. I'll fix you up as many times as it takes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Another little doll to join my menagerie. 2 sword. I thought being a pair would allow us to survive. I mean, it was just like my name, you know? We were 2 then, and we would remain 2 forever. When we held hands, we connected. I believed we truly had nothing to fear. Our time was meant to be forever. Forever and ever. We were destined to keep this small life of ours secure. I heard the sound of something breaking deep within me. There is no going back. I hear all the noise slipping slowly away into the onrushing dark. Zero's blade. From the moment I was born, there was nothing. That's how I wound up with the name Zero. I tried and failed to find value in my life. Even religion failed me, for I would have sooner fought and killed a god than pray to it. I took lives and felt nothing. I killed without regret. Right, wrong, sin, redemption. I couldn't even work up the urge to care. Like a child, I waited and hoped. Hoped for the moment when this sad shell of a life would finally be over.